Another thing which complicated matters was they had Nurse Andrews staying on with them that week. It was their own fault, they had asked her. It was Josephine's idea. On the last morning, when the doctor had gone, Josephine had said to Constantia, "Don't you think it would be rather nice if we asked Nurse Andrews to stay on for a week as our guest?" "Very nice," said Constantia. "I thought," went on Josephine quickly, "I should just say this afternoon, after I've paid her, my sister and I would be very pleased, after all you've done for us, Nurse Andrews, if you would stay on for a week as our guest. I'd have to put that in about being our guest in case." "Oh, but she could hardly expect to be paid," cried Constantia. "One never knows," said Josephine sagely. Nurse Andrews had, of course, jumped at the idea. But it was a bother. It meant they had to have regular sit-down meals at the proper times, whereas if they'd been alone they could just have asked Kate if she wouldn't have minded bringing them a tray wherever they were. And mealtimes now that the strain was over were rather a trial. Nurse Andrews was simply fearful about butter. Really, they couldn't help feeling that about butter, at least, she took advantage of their kindness. And she had that maddening habit of asking for just an inch more of bread to finish what she had on her plate, and then, at the last mouthful, absent-mindedly, of course it wasn't absent-mindedly, taking another helping. Josephine got very red when this happened, and she fastened her small, bead-like eyes on the tablecloth as if she saw a minute strange insect creeping through the web of it. But Constantia's long, pale face lengthened and set, and she gazed away far over the desert, to where that line of camels unwound like a thread of wool. "When I was with Lady Tukes," said Nurse Andrews, "she had such a dainty little contrivance for the buta. It was a silver cupid balanced on the border of a glass dish, holding a tiny fork. And when you wanted some buta you simply pressed his foot and he bent down and speared you a piece. It was quite a game." Josephine could hardly bear that. "But I think those things are very extravagant," was all she said. "But why?" asked Nurse Andrews, beaming through her eyeglasses. "No one, surely, would take more butter than one wanted, would one?" "Ring, Con," cried Josephine. She couldn't trust herself to reply. And proud young Kate, the enchanted princess, came in to see what the old tabbies wanted now. She snatched away their plates of mock something or other and slapped down a white, terrified blancmange. "Jam, please, Kate," said Josephine kindly. Kate knelt and burst open the sideboard, lifted the lid of the jam pot, saw it was empty, put it on the table, and stalked off. "I'm afraid," said Nurse Andrews a moment later, "there isn't any." "Oh, what a bother," said Josephine. She bit her lip. "What had we better do?" Constantia looked dubious. "We can't disturb Kate again," she said softly. Nurse Andrews waited, smiling at them both. Her eyes wandered, spying at everything behind her eyeglasses. Constantia in despair went back to her camels. Josephine frowned heavily, concentrated. If it hadn't been for this idiotic woman she and Con would, of course, have eaten their blancmange without. Suddenly the idea came. "I know," she said. "Marmalade. There's some marmalade in the sideboard. Get it, Con." "I hope," laughed Nurse Andrews, and her laugh was like a spoon tinkling against a medicine glass, "I hope it's not very bitter marmalade."